As a huge survival games fan that has played most titles in the past 10 years, I always ask myself, what are the most punishing survival games that I've played? So here are my personal picks for the top 5 hardcore survival games of all time. It's WaveBoogie. STARSAND is a title that most of you probably never heard of. If so, you may want to wishlist it on Steam to not forget about it. The premise is quite compelling. You are an athlete who gets stranded in a sandstorm during a marathon, only to wake up on a desert planet with sand dunes as far as the eye can see. You're quickly thrown into one of the most difficult and fun survival experiences to date. The elements are your biggest enemy at first, as you will have to protect yourself from the sun's heat at all times. Food and water rationing is also crucial to your survival. Every excursion within the desert demands preparations, and if not careful, will lead to your demise. Not to mention creatures hunting you every few days and multiplying as time passes. This game has a lot to offer, from an incredible and unique setting all the way down to its lore. And if you're a Stargate fan, well, let's just say that you will most likely enjoy yourself due to the similar atmosphere. Even in early access, this game is a staple of indie hardcore survival and goes unnoticed too often, so it's only right to rank it at number 5 on today's list. While our last title was a hidden indie gem, VALHEIM is an indie behemoth, a worldwide success for quite frankly very good reasons. And if you're one of the 2 people on Earth that hasn't played it yet, do yourself a favor, because this is a special title. VALHEIM's gameplay loop is all about progression, and if you do not prep enough, the next biome will leave you stumped. While co-oping with friends alleviates the grind and difficulty, playing solo can be one of the hardest experiences a survival game can offer. There is nothing like conquering the swamps, crafting a full set of iron armor and weapons, and sailing out to the plains with confidence, only to be met by death skeetos that will one-tap you and send you down a dead run loop like a less cool Tom Cruise in Edge of Tomorrow. Good times. Look, all jokes aside, this is a masterclass survival game with hundreds of hours of fun to be had, earning itself spot number 4. DAYZ is what started it all for me. The original addiction, point 0 of my 10-year survival spiral. This is my holy grail. With over 6,000 hours of regression, I've befriended this pain. DAYZ is a different animal, and the only game on today's list that features a heavy multiplayer aspect. That being said, the survival part is no slouch either. Now granted, my opinion may be skewed, as I only ever play servers like Namalsk Hardcore, shout out to Spaggies, where you have about 15 minutes to get a fire going before sickness sets in. You are required to thaw out all of your food and water that you find, and your clothing insulation becomes a constant upkeep to keep you alive and well. Player threat is constantly in the back of your mind, and with these vast maps, the anxiety becomes fuel as you never quite know when a firefight is around the corner. This is the only game that still, after all these years, gets my blood pumping in every shootout I get into, and this is why it is cemented as my number 3 on the hardcore scale. Now imagine everything I just said about the survival aspects of hardcore DayZ servers. Now remove the multiplayer mode and crank the difficulty to 11, and you get the Long Dark. This game is very special and unique from the opening act, and we are now in the zero mistakes territory. The atmosphere of this game is unparalleled. With a more linear approach to a survival adventure, it also has some horror elements that'll have you hold your breath. This is a visually stunning and stylistic game that often gets overlooked, and if you're looking for a game that pushes your survival instincts, this is the one for you. The immersion is so intense that you can almost feel the elements clawing away at you as you progress through the story. So word to the wise, take your time and plan ahead, because this game will not hold your hand. This is a no-brainer spot number 2 for me. And here we are, the number 1 spot, and arguably the most unforgiving, excruciating, and relentless hardcore survival game of all time, Green Hell. Let me prefix this by saying that this one ain't for the faint of heart. Literally everything in this game wants you dead. This is the most anxiety-inducing game I may have ever played outside of full-blown horror titles. The jungle does not forgive, and one single mistake means you are dead. So if you're looking for a challenge, look no further. This one sets the bar at a whole new level. While other games may start difficult, in this one, there is no get the ball rolling in your fine portion of the game. You will need to watch your step from the first minute to the very end. I would also like to mention that this game isn't punishing just to be punishing with 0 other attributes. It is also a beautiful game with an incredible story to keep you on the edge of your seat, with puzzles and story reveals as you progress. This is why Green Hell sits at the top of the pyramid as the #1 hardcore survival game of all time. Please keep in mind that these are my personal choices and would love to hear what your favorites are. Do you agree? Am I delusional? Don't answer that. And what hardcore survival game are you looking for this year? Let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out. And you may want to wishlist it on Steam to not forget about it. Forget about it. Hey, everybody's gonna know I'm from Jersey now.